Christ compels you! The power of Christ compels you! The demon needs to go now! Get out of my friend, Bob! You need to go now, demon! Say your name! Say it now!
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit! I dare you to get out of my front! Now, demon, say it!
Fuck it, what the hell is this shit you're trying to cleanse me with? That ain't holy water.
Well, it's actually sanitizer.
What happened to the Vatican's
What got
money? You know, they get billions of dollars. How their budget that low?
It got blessed by a priest.
What? What priest?
Well, I thought it was as good as the holy water.
Did you get that Dollar General or something? I'll have to get your soul now.
Ah! No! Oh, fuck! Jesus Christ!
His soul is mine. Your little cross won't save you now. I know your sins.
Father, hallowed be thy name. The kingdom come.
Your ass is mine going to hell.
Fucking shit. I have my protection.
I'm gonna ram that cross where the sun don't shine.
Praise Jesus. Guys, welcome everybody.
You'll be dead by the end of this review. Don't you know I'm not Catholic, so that don't work on me.
Well, neither am I, so. Just saying. Get the fuck. Guys, welcome everybody to a brand new movie review where we are talking about the Pope's Exorcist.
Surprised you're not burning holding that cross.
God, I almost feel a burning sensation. I can't really.
That might be your dinner from earlier.
Well, geez, I can kind of take off the act.
I know.
Actually, to be fair, I did like a 5-hour training course online to be a priest, and I think I did pretty well, actually. So I got this.
Is that how far we've come with the Vatican?
I got a certificate coming in the mail, so.
You're relying on this guy to become the next priest?
Oh, come on, god damn it.
You're letting this YouTuber become a priest?
I would make a good priest, to be fair.
There's so many bad things I could say right now.
And you won't, because you'll be nice.
This is a family-friendly channel. So
Yeah, right. Oh, God.
I already know a lot of his sins. I've known this guy half his life.
And we dare not say what they are.
If he had to do confession, I don't think we'd have enough time this century.
Oh, we sure as shit wouldn't. Guys, yes, we saw The Pope's Exorcist, the
Honestly,
latest.
I wasn't even planning on seeing this with him, but I was bored. I call him and see what he's doing. He's like, I'm going to go see a movie. I'm like, no, I'll come with you.
Well, it's the latest and greatest within the exorcism genre to come out. And
I got to be honest, these kinds of movies, it's like beating a dead horse. I'm not lying.
oh no, you're not wrong, dude.
I mean, I've seen so many possession films.
Okay.
Between Insidious, between The Exorcist. By the way, Exorcist is still the fucking greatest of all time.
Yes.
What other ones? Amityville Horror. You know.
Okay. Well, could you say Amityville Horror's exorcism?
Yes and no.
Give or take.
There's been a bunch of like possession type movies. It's just like it gets to a point where you can almost predict what's gonna happen. It's gotten that good. I mean, the last one we saw together at your place, that was a piece of dung.
Pray for the devil. Yeah.
I was praying for it to be over.
It's not that good. So, I'm not gonna lie. I went into this kind of skeptical, but I was still interested regardless. I mean, with all that being said about, you know, how predictable they've gotten and how tired they've gotten, still going to see this, where would you like to start with The Pope's Exorcist?
Let's go a little bit of cast listing so you know who's in it.
Okay, we got Russell Crowe here, who plays Father Gabriel.
I honestly don't remember the last movie I saw him in.
Oh,
It's been a while.
I've seen him in a few things here and there, man. I got to admit to you, when I heard Russell Crowe was in this, I kind of got a little bit apprehensive at first because I'm like thinking,
I thought this movie was gonna be like a lot like The Right.
Yeah.
We didn't really care for The Right.
Yeah, no, we didn't care for The Right. But I thought having a big enough star like Russell Crowe, I'm like, could I buy him as this character?
Well, I mean, this is sort of based loosely on a true story.
Yes, it's Father Gabriel was a real person.
Yes,
and apparently
he was the chief exorcist through the Pope.
Yes, for the Pope himself. So that is true. We don't know exactly how true any of it is after this, but
they probably had to deny some stuff, fabricate some stuff in order to make so it didn't embarrass the church.
Exactly. And I got to admit to you straight off the bat, before we talk about any other person in here, I thought Russell Crowe did a good job.
Surprisingly,
I did, man. Like, I actually was so worried, but then once you start to see him being sarcastic and funny and riding...
It felt a little unorthodox for a priest, but...
Well, yeah, and riding his little scooter around and
don't forget his deal with sugar.
Yeah, and I thought he's kind of charming and funny and witty, and I really liked him in this role, man.
Well, you find out why he's a little bit like that in the movie.
Yes, you do, and I like his past. I like how he plays it. I like that. I thought he was perfect. If anybody else was not good, that could be okay, but he had to hit it on the mark, being the lead.
He's like the main character in the movie. I mean...
And he hit it out of the park. He was awesome.
I mean, this movie takes place 1987?
Yes, late 80s. I know it does.
It was like, I think it was like 86 or 87.
Yeah, somewhere around
there. I mean, shit, me and him were only a couple years old when that happened.
Oh, shit, man. But he was good in that. Who else we got here? We got...
I told you about the one that played the mother in this movie. I forget her actress's name.
I'm not
She
sure.
was in Starry Eyes, which she didn't really...
Yeah, I can't believe it's been...
I saw her, I'm like, why does she look so familiar?
So long.
I had to look up her cast listing from her previous movies. I'm like, she's actually younger than us. I'm like...
She was great in
her
the
early
role.
30s.
She was absolutely fantastic. I loved her in the role playing the mother. She was great, and I loved the kids, and especially the one that got possessed.
He had a creepy ass. He had like a Damien type look to him.
Yes, I really loved that. I thought he was fantastic, man. I really liked his look. I liked what they were going. Mm-hmm. I liked them displaying the fear and the dread and being scared. I loved it all. I thought they did a great job with that, man. I thought all the actors, even the guy who played the other priest, who is more naive about all of this stuff, he did a really great job as well.
In the movie, even the priest says out of all the cases they have, only like 98% of them are usually people with mental problems. And the other 2% are actual real possessions.
Yes, which I actually like, because in most exorcism movies, what you'll get is that you'll get the priest or whoever it is say, well, I've dealt with all of these exorcism cases and I'm an expert and everything like that. And basically what Father Gabriel is like, look, I'm not going to lie, most of them think they're possessed, but they're not really possessed.
Well, it's like what he does in the beginning of the film with the first case that he has that we see during the film. Goes to the local town, they find out, he's going there asking about the person who's possessed. He talks to the family, the parents, the little sister, and he has another guy there, a local, with a giant pig. I was wondering what they were doing with that. And then you find out, he goes upstairs, he talks to the guy who's possessed, or supposedly possessed. He's like, if you're a real demon, you should be able to react to this, and you should be able to tell me my name and all that. And the guy's just like, I don't need to tell you your name, I'm one of Legion. And he's like, okay, if you're really possessed, you should be able to possess this pig. And the other priest that's there with him, he's like very skeptical of what's going on. He doesn't understand what's going on, what they're doing. And he's trying to, is we really going to do an exorcism here or not? And he's just like, if you can possess the pig, I'll really believe you're possessed. So he does the thing with the pig. And then...
shoots the pig.
Yeah, the other guy, the local's in there, takes a shotgun, blows the hell out of
the pig. And then you're like, oh, okay, I guess he was possessed, or maybe he was, and then
it's mentally something wrong with him mentally
something. But the idea that the church, or or
like the newer, younger
or
cardinal.
the younger people.
I forget what the levels are on there. But
They kind of frown upon what he's not that they frown upon the fact that he's trying to help the people.
He even tells them he's not a psychologist. He's just trying to figure out what's going on, and most of these people who think they're possessed, what's going on in their head.
They're kind of like, your methods are, we're not liking your methods,
and we're not really believing in the possession of evil and all that.
And they're trying to get him out, but basically he's like, look, my boss is the Pope.
Mm-hmm.
The Pope appointed me to this, and if you got a problem with me, go to him.
Take it up on my boss.
And so the Pope ends up basically sending him to
another case.
This case about this rundown church.
Yep.
That has been giving them trouble for years, but they didn't really know why exactly.
And that cuts in with the family from the trailer.
With the family and them being possessed, or at least the little boy being possessed, and he goes and really deals with this case, with this family, not knowing what to expect or what he's getting himself into.
He's just dealing with another random mental person,
Yes. And I guess the thing for me, Bob, is that, see, I like the movie overall, but I felt like the movie got better later on. Like when we deal with the whole family possessed little kid thing, I'm like, I've seen that 10,000 times over, and it's nothing really new.
Well, even when the kid starts acting possessed, his mother's trying to comfort him. Next minute, it's like, Mommy, you never breastfed me. I'm like, then he's got his hand on her boob. I'm like, is that kind of inappropriate? Because especially if this movie's like PG-13, I think.
Well, if you're gonna really do shocking stuff, you need to do shocking things in an exorcism movie, and I get it and I understand it. But
there wasn't a lot of creep out factors in this movie.
There wasn't. There was some to a certain degree, but the whole stuff with the little kid being possessed, I felt like I
could have done a lot more of it.
Yes, but also, look, I've seen it with Reagan. I've seen it with all these other movies with little kids. I've seen it with all of them getting possessed. And I was like, I'm just kind of going through the motions. What else do we got? And it's not until Russell Crowe's character, Father Gabriel, really uncovers what's going on.
Yeah, because there's like, when you find out what's really going, there are levels beyond levels here of... this talks a lot about the church, like back in the day, stuff they hid in a way that they're ashamed of telling people.
Going all the way back to the Spanish Inquisition.
That was a long time ago, too.
And the idea of the reasons behind it and what ultimately prompted it, and all of the complications with the devil and his minions, and I thought all of that stuff was fascinating. Like, all that stuff was fucking awesome, Bob. Like,
I mean, I will say this, when we get to see like because there is a scene where there's like a temple under, I won't say a temple, more like what do you want to call it?
What?
For the underneath the
a tomb?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
More like a tomb, sort of like an Indiana Jones type thing that looks like underneath there. I will say this, like the whole, like the final scene with where the demon is, and where you have that whole underground cave thing, that would look really decent.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't expecting it to look that decent, but it was.
I thought it looked great. Like, the deeper we got into it, where they're going into the catacombs.
Even the guy says, like, oh, what, I smell more sulfur. I'm like, yes, because we're getting closer to hell.
Yeah, it's like you're getting closer to hell. And I loved all of that stuff. I thought that stuff was absolutely brilliant. And on top of that, like, I loved when he opened up, like, the chamber and there was all the skulls there. And I thought the skulls were really cool. And
even that little thing with where they saw the one priest that was previously possessed. He had it locked up in, like, a little torture chamber.
Yes.
Thing. I'm like...
That was cool.
That, and where he hid the key in order to get to the main section. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, Father, and then he rips open the guy's stomach.
Yes, in order to get the key out. And I'm like,
here, use this.
That's so cool, man. And I was really impressed by that. And I thought, that was really awesome, and I really appreciated all the little intricacies, especially when it came to the mythology of the church and of Satan and God, and I thought that was really well done. And as the movie further develops that and gets away from the child exorcism stuff, I was liking it a hell of a lot more.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, this is more intriguing to me. I like that it really connects even more with Father Gabriel. And I thought all that stuff was great, man. And I really liked it, and I thought it was really phenomenal. So for me, that was the best part.
Yeah.
I mean, I still liked the son and the mother and the daughter thing, but I gotta admit to you that at a certain point, I wasn't really liking...
It was getting kind of duller the longer it went on.
It was getting dull, yes, but I didn't really like the daughter all that much. The daughter just felt...
I wish they could have done more with the kid, made it more gruesome as the longer he gets possessed, the more demonic looking he looked.
I mean, the teeth were kind of changing, the look. He was
I
looking a little...
would like to see he bite his fingers off or something like that, make it more gruesome.
I would have liked to have seen that.
I mean, all you see is some skin mutilation. That was it.
Yeah, that's all you really see. You don't really see much more than that.
Death.
Like I said, the movie is good. And I did enjoy it, but I think the problem for me ultimately is that you start off very standard. You get better as the movie goes on.
And when you get toward the end, it starts to get borderline again.
Well, you have to go back to the exorcism thing again.
Yeah.
And the problem that these movies have, and I think maybe you'd agree with me, maybe you wouldn't, it's the same with Pray for the Devil, it's the same with The Rite, it's the same with all of them, is that at the end, the third act, there's this big, bombastic, huge CGI, fucking like big fires, flames going on and everything, and the kid that's possessed, or the person, whoever it is in the air, and they're just, all this shit's going on. And I just kept thinking to myself, I'm like, every single exorcism movie is like this, man. Every single one. And this is no different, by the way.
These movies are getting to be like a predictable pattern of how they do it.
Yes, it's very predictable, and it, to me, is a little bit like... It's kind of standard at this point. I'm not saying it's bad, but it could be better. Slightly. I mean, look, is this ultimately the worst one we've ever seen? No,
This movie
not
is
even
more like
close.
borderline for me.
I don't want to say it's borderline for me, because I actually really enjoyed it quite a bit. But again, it started off just your same old average exorcism movie, just the same thing that you've seen before. And it raises it up more as the movie goes on, and you start to get into the whole mythology and uncovering of the church and the connections with history. And I thought that's when it was really getting juicy. Like, it started to remind me of almost like an exorcism version of like Indiana Jones or some shit. Like, that's when I really started to like it.
Me and you were a child of the 80s, 90s.
Yes.
You know, we're used to seeing these kinds of horror films. We got into a point where it's very hard to get us to a point where we're like, oh, this is a great movie, you know?
Absolutely.
Especially after you see the same type of story almost every time.
Once you keep on seeing it over and over again, it tends to get...
It loses a lot of flavor.
Yeah, it tends to get a little dry. However, there are exceptions to the rule, and I actually have some that I...
One out of his billion movies at home. He doesn't deny it.
So...
Of course, the best of all...
The granddaddy of them all, as we said...
The best of them all. I don't think I'll ever beat it.
The Exorcist.
They will never beat it.
No doubt.
That movie is classic.
This movie is
really...
on
another level.
I think it's the gold standard. Wouldn't you agree?
That would be... If I had to say out of perfect exorcism movies, that would be number one.
It would be number one. Gold standard, no doubt.
No way in hell anybody's ever really going to beat it.
No, I don't think so. And... By the way, The Exorcist 2 really isn't all that great. However, The Exorcist 3 is amazing.
Yeah.
Exorcist 3 is amazing. And then they did the prequels.
There were two different versions of the prequel.
There was.
Which one did you like better? The girl one or where the kid gets possessed?
Which one is the slower one?
I don't remember because it's been
I
such
think
a
it
long.
might be the
I haven't
boy.
watched those in such a long time.
I do like both of them, but they're two very different movies, though.
I mean, they both had their high points in it. I mean,
Yes.
I liked seeing the girl as she's begging the priest to fuck her, and she's like, her body's like deteriorating in front, like decaying and shit.
Yes.
Then the other ones where the kid's like bald and he's got red eyes, and he's like saying, "I am perfection."
God, I gotta rewatch them. It's been so long.
It's been
man.
such a long
It's so
time.
long, but
it's basically the same story in two different versions.
But regardless,
Yeah.
this is the gold standard.
Still not going to beat the gold standard.
Still not going to beat the gold standard. However, there is other ones like The Conjuring, which is great. The original.
Honestly, I think the first one was the best out of all of them.
Yeah, the second one, it has its moments. Third one really just shit the bed.
That was the one with the daughter, right?
Yes, and then the third one was sort of the courtroom drama thing, and it wasn't really. I also have to give a good mention about the exorcism of Emily Rose, which is a really great movie as well.
I have not seen that in a long
That is
time.
a good one too. I really like that.
What was that one me and you saw where the girl did that thing with her back? I know that wasn't a. Oh, of course he has it.
The Last Exorcism.
You know why he likes that girl?
Well, she's very bendy, but I mean,
she might eat your soul, but
no,
your
that's
soul's
all
kind of bitter by now anyway.
right. I know it don't matter. But we saw this in the movie theater.
First one was like 1,000 times better.
Oh my god, the second one's shit. But I love this one, and I think this one is one of the better exorcism movies in the modern era. It really is.
What I liked about that one was it's like this priest is just like more like a con artist than an actual priest. He's like one of those fake traveling priests. And
yes, and I like the idea of
he
this.
he finally finds real religion at the end of the movie, even though he probably dies.
Yeah, well, we kind of left it up in the air, but
It's
yeah.
a big question mark. I mean, he's technically the only one we see left at the end of the film, other than the girl.
This is true. And the other ones, the newer ones that I really like, The Unholy is really great. I like The Unholy a lot. This one is really solid. And I gotta also give a quick mention to one that came on not too long ago, and that is The Exorcism of God.
I don't think I saw that
Which
one
this is a really great one. I really like this one about this priest that has been tested in his faith and how he needs to come back to the priesthood because of this one situation. It's really, really fantastic. I really love it. It's a solid exorcism film. Very unknown, but really well done. And yet again, it's not perfect because you do have things like The Exorcist 2, which is not as good. You have The Rite. You have Pray for the Devil.
So many bad ones you see on Netflix and Tubi.
The Devil Inside, which...
Why does that sound familiar?
Well, we saw that one.
Is that the one where like the mother's like sleeping in baby's stomach or baby goes
or
stomach?
remember when she has like she like
connect the cuts. Yeah. I was just waiting for her to do that thing with her lip and it'd be a tattoo of your face in there. That's how he is most of the day anyway when he's at work. Sure, you don't need a demon possessed.
I probably do, man. God damn it. But
I don't think they take his soul. They probably want a refund.
Shit, man. But the truth is, though, Bob, is that you and I have been through this genre many times over.
We've been through probably hundreds and hundreds of these types of movies.
We have, and I think. Oh, okay. Let me ask you this: you walk into this movie.
Like I said, these types of movies at a point, like for a lot of different types of genres and stuff, like I've seen, it's this type of movie, after a while it gets kind of a point where it's like, it's not easy to get me, because I've seen hundreds and hundreds of movies throughout my life. I've been on this planet me and you both been on this planet for over 4 decades.
Yes, crazy enough.
Just slightly over 4 decades. Don't think we're that old. It's like a smidge over 40. But the problem is we've seen so many movies, it's hard to really get, you get the occasional jump scares in movies, that, make me get out of my seat a little bit. But overall, at the point it gets predictable.
So, let me ask you this. With all of that being said, the predictability, and even though this movie does do some really great stuff, including the acting and some of the really great mythology, what is your final thoughts and grade rating on The Pope's Exorcist?
I mean, it had some slight good parts in it with Russell Crowe. That's pretty much the only thing that made this movie not, like, totally fail.
This is true.
I mean, yeah, it's based on a true story, but like we said earlier, it's based on loose events. You know, they can't give you the full detail of what really happened. I mean, probably between Russell Crowe and the stuff near the end where they discovered the underground cavern and the tomb and all that stuff. If it wasn't for that, I think this movie would be a total F.
Wow, okay.
But with all the stuff we just said, this movie would probably be... I mean, I don't think it'd ever get to a B or an A rating with me.
Okay.
I'd have to say, just to be perfectly honest, I can't give it a C plus either. I'd have to say probably a solid C.
Okay.
But it's better than some of the shit I've seen lately.
Okay, if you were to say...
This is better than The Rite, I'll give you that.
Yes, but if you were to say, right now, if you could say a ranking of exorcism movies...
I couldn't... The problem is I've seen so many, I forget half their names.
Is this in the top tier, or is this in sort of the mid tier, or is it sort of the
I've seen a lot worse ones, like tons.
Oh, I mean, okay, sure.
I can't even say if I've seen anything better than this lately.
Okay.
So this would have to probably be... See, I couldn't even list 50. I couldn't even list 20 exorcism movies. I've seen so many, it's all blurred now.
Okay.
But I'd have to say this should probably be in the top tier somewhere. I don't know exactly where.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, my number one will always be The Exorcist.
Oh, it'll always be The Exorcist. That's no doubt. As far as I'm concerned, look, at the end of the day, Bob is right. We've seen so many of them, and it really, at this point, is just spinning its wheels. That's not to say that you can't do something really great within the genre. I think movies like The Last Exorcism pretty much prove that.
Yeah.
But I think you have to be very clever and unique about it. I think this movie has a great idea behind it. It takes a long while to get there.
Yeah.
But once you do, I think this movie is really hitting the ground running, and man, it really goes full tilt in a great way. I would love to see a sequel, actually.
I mean, they kind of led up to the way that they ended the film. It led up for a potential sequel.
Yes, you could kind of see a sequel where Father Gabriel can come back and he's gonna fight more of the demons of hell.
Yeah, because they even said this was like one of like 200 locations. I'm like, by the time you get through like 10 of them, this guy's gonna be like in old age home by then. You have to summon a new generation right here.
Can you imagine like Father Gabriel in like the nursing home with like the nurses and everything? He's talking about all of the battles he's had with and the nurses are like, oh well,
they
that's
even
great,
said in
Father.
the thing he died in what, like 90s or something?
No, I think it was like in like 2060. Was it 16 or something?
Yeah,
I think it was something like that. I don't know. It was. It wasn't.
He was already
long.
pretty decent age in the movie. I mean,
yeah, and
he was
then
like his late 50s, possibly early 60s.
I will say this, like where they leave off with the film and all the mythology that they brought into the movie, like I think a sequel could be really cool. I think for this film, it's a nice introduction to the world, to Father Gabriel, to the rules of this exorcism, hopefully, maybe franchise, potentially. I mean...
That's if you can get Russell Crowe to come back for another one.
This is true, because, Russell Crowe and, getting him back for movies.
I mean, you can say about all these types of exorcist movies, it's like, you get the same type of plot. Something happens, person gets possessed, then you got to get a priest to, do an exorcism. And then you got to find out what's the reason behind the exorcism. It's pretty much cut and dry. Basically, you're doing interchanging of characters for each movie.
Yes, like you could take moments from The Rite and put them in The Pope's Exorcist. You could take things from the Pope's Exorcist and put them in Pray for the Devil. You could take things from Pray for the Devil and put them in this. Like it's all interchangeable, man. And
it's basically like the same story, just cut out certain parts, and it's almost the exact same movie.
But at the same time, I will say this: the characters here are much more likable.
Yeah.
I like the situations that they deal with once they get into the whole mythology of it. I felt like...
I think they had a better setting in this movie.
They had a much better setting. I think they had a much better main character. I look at movies like Pray for the Devil or The Rite or The Devil Inside or all these other fucking pieces of shit. And I always think to myself, I'm like, these movies bore me to death. And this movie at least didn't bore me.
Once you rise from the grave,
hell, I mean,
start floating in the air, I'm gonna be worried.
Oh, there you go. But I mean, shit, man. To me, I will say this much: I think this movie is way better than a lot of the stuff that has come out in the last maybe even 10 years.
I've seen some real stinkers on Netflix and Tubi. I'm like,
sure.
I'm like, a lot of those ones felt like those ones that you see on Sci-Fi, you know.
Exactly. And at least with this one,
at least they tried to get an effort.
And for me, I appreciate that. So I'm going to give it a B-.
We're not too far off.
We're not too far off. I am going to give it a B- because I do think that Russell Crowe elevates the material. He really makes it pop, and I think he is one of the reasons why this film works as well as it does. No wonder he's a star the way he is, because it's movies like this where if you get a lesser actor in here, it wouldn't be nearly as good. You bring him in, and man, he really makes this film shine. And I really love how they get into the whole church stuff, and I just love how the demon itself, Asmodeus, the idea of that, how he has his hands within the church, and how really his presence even affects like way far away, like the Pope himself.
You gotta realize in the hierarchy, he's just under the devil. He's like one of the devil's main generals / princes.
Yes. And I love that. And I loved how...
He's one of the fallen angels that went with Lucifer. So, yeah, he's going to be powerful.
And I loved how in the movie, because Father Gabriel comes in very confident, and he's like, I'm Father Gabriel. And he comes in, and he's gonna go in, and he's gonna take charge of the demon. And the demon is like, I know you. I know your past.
I know your sins.
I know your sins. I know everything about you. And the idea that...
You really got into the other priest's head. That's for damn sure.
Oh, yeah. I want to fuck with you. I want to fuck with everybody. And there's not a goddamn thing that you can fucking do about it.
And, made me laugh about the other priest. Is like,
what?
Like, I took a vow of celibacy. But you find out he banged a girl, and, like... Then you get I was surprised. I honestly didn't think I was surprised that there was going to be nudity in this film. I'm like, I wasn't expecting that.
Yes, there's a scene, there's a couple scenes actually, of like, I suppose it's the girl that he slept with, the teenage girl, and like, she's like, father, and
there's another
like,
part later on where she's butt-ass naked, covered in blood.
Yes, I'm like, what the hell? Like, whoa.
I thought they were going to do another scene with Russell Crowe's character, because they talk about a girl that he failed to save, and I thought she was going to, she's like, are you here to fuck me, priest? I'm like, I wasn't expecting that.
Wow, like I thought that was kind of bold. I like some things with that, man.
I will say one thing I did like about this movie.
Okay, yeah.
Is how much, even though he, I confessed my sin, I'm supposed to be cleansed, but the guilt stuck with him about that girl he couldn't save.
Yes, and the fact that he didn't
try hard enough.
Yes, and the fact that he couldn't really do his job effectively until he was able to rid himself of that real shame that he still had for it.
That's how these types of demons work. They find your weak point. That's how they work their way in.
Absolutely. And I like that idea behind that, and I like the imagery, and I thought it was overall pretty solid. Yeah, there's certain scenes where it's like, okay,
Cut and dry.
the person is like crawling like a spider. Okay, it's from The Exorcist. I get it.
And that's been done so many times. I'm crawling on the wall.
On the wall, and okay.
Spider-Man can do that. We don't think he's possessed.
I know. So like, all right, fine. But outside of those standard everyday tropes, there was something really genuine and unique in this movie, and I think it did, at the end of the day, shine through, which I did like. So overall, not half bad. And this movie yet again, Bob, proves that, I ain't gonna lie, you fucking Christians, man, like, I don't know what it is with you motherfuckers. I have no idea. But let me tell you something, man. You guys piss off somebody, because us Jews, we don't have to barely deal with this shit. God damn.
Don't worry. The demons will come after you after they're done with us.
Come on. They won't. You know it. They won't, Bob. Let's be fair. They won't. Look, as long as I'm carrying my fake Jew cross, then they ain't never getting my ass. Trust me. They can try to...
let me inside.
Let me tell you something. This Jew, sure as shit ain't opening the door.
You know what his luck would be? Remember that movie, what the hell, the Possession?
Yes,
movie with the box?
I know.
That would be your luck. You think it'd be some kind of Amazon package or something that you ordered. You take the box, I'm like, what is this? Let me open it up.
Yeah, see, that's why I don't go to garage sales. So, Bob, about that exorcism thing that I was about to do to you.
What the hell you want, priest?
Look, you can either take the religious chantings or the magic sanitizer juice. Wait. Come on.
Fucking sanitizer.
Come on.
I will touch your skull. Give me the sanitizer. See how you like it.
God damn it, dude.
And you say we're unclean, you fucking priest. Take it.
No! Dude.
If that burns you, that says a lot about me.
All I wanted to do was rid him of his demons and his sin.
I'm already going to hell. I worked at Walmart, remember?
It's bad. Guys.
Your discount holy water.
It was blessed by a priest. Get it right.
Oh, I'm so scared.
Yeah, I thought so. Your
Dollar General.
I thought so.
Your Dollar General holy water.
Blessed by a priest, damn it.
What? What priest? James Woods?
It was blessed by the Pope himself.
What? Film Fan 108?
Sanitizer juice.
My ass.
Holy sanitizer juice. If you fuck with me, this is going where the sun don't shine.
What, up your ass?
Well, like yours.
Look
Guys,
at that.
I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely give it the thumbs up. Let us know what you think of the Pope's Exorcist. Do you think it's one of the better ones, not one of the great ones? Where does it rank? And what is some of your favorite exorcism movies? Definitely let us know. And we will be back next time for a brand new movie. What are you doing?
Let's see how you like it. Now it's going where the sun don't shine. Time to go to hell.